Hello, good evening everybody. I am now live, hopefully. Just a few technical issues with the program telling me that I needed to set everything up again as though I was a new customer. So anyway, should be up and ready now. So hopefully some people will come on here and join me. So today I've got a little cute project that I had a few of my my team came round today, and we all did shoebox swaps. So a shoebox swap is we all make projects. We made 2 projects each. So we made projects, and basically we then make kits up for each other to make the same project. So Rebecca shared a little project with us today, and I thought that would be ideal to share with you guys tonight. So I asked her permission. It's not her idea. She is one that she'd found something similar. So but she's happy for me to share that with you tonight. So I thought I would just do that. So let me get you down onto the table and move you across, and then we've got the screen here. We should be good. So I'm not sure whether I've shown these. Hi, Angela. I'm not sure if I've shown some of my cute little cards, these little ones here, online before. These are some that I made with I can get 4 out of a sheet of card, because this is exactly that way. It's exactly 10.5 coming across here. 21, so it's 10.5 cutting down, and then I've scored at 7 and cut at 14, and then repeated that. So there's actually, can't get them all on the camera at the moment. There you go, 4 like that. So 2 and then 2 there, and I could get 4 from one sheet. So these were some I made. I've got a little cute box here as well. I did several different designs. So this one's going to be even more simple than that, but we're going to make a little mini card. I want to try and make it to fit one of these cards, so I'm going to keep this one out. So this is the project we made this afternoon. Okay, so it's a little bit slimmer, a little bit taller and slimmer. So I'm going to just make, if I make this one first, okay, I'm going to give you 2 sizes. So I'm going to do this one, and then we'll do another one. I just realised I haven't got any stamps out, have I, for the sentiment. So let's just see what I used today. I'll just grab that for you. Hi, Linda. Lovely to see you taking some me time today. It's really good. Hopefully everybody's okay today. So that was a thanks one. I think I'm going to use the one from here because it's got thank you, and I think that would look nicely on there. Just see about the length of this. We need to. It's in the set we used today. Let me just retrieve that. And there. And there. It's going to be there. Some of those. And then I just need that. So we're back. I'm just going to make sure that this is actually going to fit. Oh yes, it will. It's the same sort of size for that little accent on there. So what we've got here is we're going to start with 6-inch pieces of designer series paper. So I'm going to make the pouch first and then backtrack onto the card. Hi Lynn, lovely to see you could join us. So Rebecca did hers with this pattern. These are 12-inch papers from the Sale-A-Bration. So these are a qualifying level 1 purchase. I quite fancy playing with this one, I think, tonight. I don't think I've used that one. So I'm going to do that. And I've got some thick white here, but I'm going to start off with this as a 6-inch piece. Now, every now and again, it's nice to give you little reminders. If you have our Stampin' Up trimmer and it's closed, the arm here is closed, there's a little ridge in here. So when you bring this along, you butt that up to this edge. That is actually automatically 6 inches. So we can just cut that one, turn it, butt it up against here again, and it's 6 inches again. So we've got 2 pieces there. That one can go back in the packet. Okay, so we'll keep those 2 out. I might actually keep that other piece out to do for the cards, but let's just make one of those for now. So we're going to do this size first, so that if you want to do these ones, I'll give you all the measurements. So from our 6-inch piece here, hi Marilyn, hi Shaz, we're going to start off with scoring. If there's one direction, you need to have it upside down, in effect. The top is going to have 1.5, and then you're going to have half an inch at the bottom here. So, sorry, 3/4 and half an inch at the bottom. So I'm going to score this down here at 1.5 inches. Okay, so got that just in there. Then I'm going to run it across here and we're going to score it at 4.5. So these are the vertical ones, and then turn it this way. We're going to score it at this way at 3/4 of an inch. Now it's easier to do 1 on 3/4 of an inch this side. Okay, so we've got the 1 inch mark there, that's 3/4. So I'm going to do there, and then say how I've done that this way round. I normally like to do them and then move them across. So that would be the 3/4, and then we're going to go across and do 5.5, or 1/2 inch from the other end. Okay, so there's our score lines. So we're starting with the pocket first here. So I'm now going to, you can probably see the lines better on this side. I've got 2 going that way. So we're going to burnish those ones, and they will just overlap. I've done mine the other way, huh? There shouldn't be any difference. Just working out here, that looks like it's... Did I do my measurements right? Let me just double check. I have 1.5. Then I wanted 4.5, not 5.5. It was 4.5. That's really weird. I made one this afternoon, and this is only just meeting in the middle there. So what do we do here? Let me just measure this one. That's not very good, is it? So 1.5 and 4.5, it should have left 1.5 at each end. That's not right, is it? 4.5, 4, 5. I should still go to, that is just exactly 6. Let me write these down. Let me just double check here. We have got, that's actually 1 3/4. Let me just amend that, sorry about that. 1 3/4, and then it's from the other end, it's 1.5. Slightly different on there. Let me do the other piece first. So we're going to have, I've got to do it from the ends. Look, 1.5 from one end. Okay, I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do 1 3/4 from this end. They need to overlap. So let me just check that that is right. It's easier that way. There's our overlap, look there. So we've got just that little bit. So 1.5 from one end and 1 3/4 from the other end. So then we've got the top on here. We've got 1/2 inch from one end and 3/4 from the other. Okay. So there we go. Trying again. Sorry about that. In our excitement today, we were scribbling down the measurements. I must have misheard. There we go. So that's where we are. There's our little pouch. Okay. So this little tiny trim at the bottom, this one's slightly bigger. That's going to be a little flap. This one here is 1/2 inch. That's just going to be a little turnover at the bottom. Now I've got my glasses here somewhere. She said. Okay. Glasses are here. So all 4 corners on this piece, all 4 are going to come off. Hi Yvonne. So we're going to take these off. Now I'm going to cut this up straight here and cut out each of those 4 corners. Okay, there's the scored edge along here. I just like to cut on the inside of the scored edge. And then the same here, just going to come on this side and then the inside of this one, so that we cut away the ridge basically. That's that one. Okay, now I'll do all 4 first. So we're going to take all of these 4 corners off. So we're cutting away the ridge in the piece we discard. Okay, up there. And then this one as well. In there, and then on the inside of this one. Okay. So these are our 2 flaps. One is going to be the top flap where you're going to put your contents in, and the other one is going to be the little tiny piece at the bottom. So both of these ends, we're going to just try slightly taper that. So we're just cutting a little tiny triangle off there. So we've got a little angle piece, and then the same here. If you don't cut these off, they tend to overhang the edges a little, just a little fraction, and they don't look terribly good. So that's that one and that one. Just get rid of those into the bin and get those off the table. Trouble having a non-slip mat. There we go. So these are going to come in and overlap on here. So I like to just put my finger in the middle here where that's overlapping, so I know where that's going to go. and it's going to come to that edge there where my finger is. So I know I can put the adhesive down that seam without going over that edge. Okay, so we're just going to pop that down and press on that one just down the middle. Okay, so that's our little pouch. Okay, so that's all in there. I have squeezed a little bit too much at the top there. Let's wipe that away. So the bottom flap is our seal, so we're just going to pop a little tiny adhesive on that flap, and that will just fold upwards. It's remind me a little bit of a wages pocket. Those of you who are old enough to get your wages in cash, maybe a Saturday job. Hi Carol, nice to see you. So we've got one seam down the middle, and then we've got a little flap up there. So that's our little pouch and our little piece over the top there. So our card is now going to be this one here, and I'm going to give you the measurements for the one that we've got here. So this one is a piece of card that is 2.5 inches by, well, sorry, the score line is at 2.5, 5 inches by 4.5. Okay, so 5 inches and score halfway at 2.5. So let's just get a sheet of the thick white card. So we've got some thick in here. When I start off with 6-inch pieces of paper, if it's in inches, 12 inch, it's easier to cut it into inches. So you'll find me using the inches side for that rather than the centimetres. But we need to work this so that, see how we can get the most economy out of this. We're going to get 5. Yeah, we're going to have quite a bit of waste on this. I don't think there's a cost-effective way of doing this. If I do it that way, our piece of paper, yeah, we can do that way. Let's cut a 5-inch piece this way. Okay, cut that off, and then we're going to go 4.5 this way. Okay, just going to lie that on there and make sure that's okay. So that's the same measurement. So 4.5 by 5, and it's the 5-inch piece, the longer side, that's going to be scored in half at 2.5. Okay, so scoring on there. A little brown envelope with a window. Yeah, yes, yes, your wages envelopes. I remember little slips like that when I worked a part-time job. The princely sum of, I think it was £7 I used to earn on a Saturday for a whole day's work. Now that shows people have that an hour, if not, more than that, an hour. And I'm sure I used to get for a Saturday, that's how much I got. So here's our little card. So I'm just going to grab the other one just to show you. Where did I put it? It's not the card, that's the packet. I've already lost it on the table. How could I only have 3 things on the table and lose it? Silly Billy. There we go, it's open and I've lost it. There we go, it was open so I couldn't see it's coloured. So there's our little card. So it's a nice slim little card. So our measurements on here, on the front, we've got, if I draw a little rectangle off the side here on the page, so I've got 2.5 along the top and then 4.5 this way on here. So 4.5 on that long edge. So we want to just take 1/8 of an inch off there. So we want it to be 2 3/8 along the top, and then 4 3/8 down the side. Okay, so that's for our layer of card. Now I'm using the purple papers, these ones here. So I'm going to use some Blackberry Bliss, one of my favourite, in fact that probably is my all-time favourite colour ever. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece and just see. Won't fit that way, will it? I'll do the other way. So we will do 4 3/8 this way along. 4 1 2 3/8. Okay, and then this way at 2 3/8. 2 1 2 3/8. I didn't used to like using inches, but I'm getting much more proficient with it. So there's our little border on there. So I'm going to just leave that there for now. I'm going to take another piece of the paper that we had earlier. In fact, I might take that piece. We're going to come in another 1/8, so that's 2 1/4 inches along the top and 4 1/4 on the side. Okay, so I'm taking it down another 1/8 of an inch. This piece that I scored wrongly, I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to take that and make use of that. So I'll take some of these score lines off. There we go. And then I've taken 2 of them off. I'm just going to work this one out now. So I'm going 2 1/4 on the short side. We're just grateful tonight I'm using a all direction, one all over pattern. So, and 4 3/8 has gone down to 4 1/4. Sometimes I find the easiest way to understand them is to put everything into eighths. So 1/4 is 2/8, and therefore take one off. You know, and 4 3/8 goes down. So 1/4 is 2/8. So we're just going down to 1. So I'm going to add those 2 together. Now I've got some ribbon here. This is, because there's the purples in there, I'm using our Sale-A-Bration ribbon. So it's Sale-A-Bration papers. You have seen me use these before. I'm going to start by putting those 2 layers together. So the paper's just going to come on here. Tiny little border around the edge. Okay, not too much. My tweezers. So I don't get sticky fingers. Okay. It's hard to see the Blackberry Bliss on a black mat, I'm afraid. So sorry about that. I'm just placing that roughly in position. And I'm just sliding it there so I can see where we are. So we've got that tiny little border coming around there. You can see it against the card easier. Okay, so just press on that. Okay, now we're going to put a little label on here, and I've got my Stylish Shapes dies. You've seen me use these an awful lot lately. This greeting I'm hoping should fit in just inside there nicely. I'm just going to test that. I think that will just do that. So we'll take another little scrap of the white. These strips, I was saying today, the strips of card that we seem to always manage to accumulate that have come off something else, you cut something down to size and you've got these random pieces left over, that they are ideal for little sentiments like this and tiny little dies. Really good. I've learnt another really good tip I will be showing you in a couple of weeks when I've got another order coming through, and I'm going to show you a tip with regards to your Memento black ink. Okay, that was a lovely tip I learnt. It's been out there in demonstrator land, but Sandra I'd briefly heard of something, but I didn't know all the details and how really good it is. That does make a difference. So I will share that with you as soon as I am able. So just snip that one down. I'll use that for another card perhaps. So I've got my little baby machine here, my little mini cut and emboss machine. If you've been thinking about getting a cutter, don't forget that till the end of this month we have Sale-A-Bration. So if you're looking to have a purchase and get something for free, it could be the time for you to think about buying it now and then choosing something from Sale-A-Bration totally free, like these ribbons or the papers, etc. And there's lots more choice. So do get in touch with myself or your demonstrator if you're not local to me. Okay, so I'll pop that one out. That is a really tight fit, but that fits on there perfectly. I'm going to put that one back on the magnet so I don't lose it. That one can go in the bin that I've emptied and taken off the table. Never mind. Come back to you in a minute. So this, I'm going to add a piece of ribbon around the side. So just going to tie this around here into a little knot. Remember from the original one that I had. So I only want a knot, I don't want a bow, so I'm just going to make this quite small. So it's just going to overlap a little tiny bit over on this piece. I don't want too much waste there, so I'm just going to tighten that a little bit. That will make me a nice little knot. I'll get my big scissors for this. Okay, take that away. So, as in the school days when I learnt right over left and left over right, that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Right over left and left over right. I might need my tweezers to go fishing for that, been quite economical with it. So if I get it through there loosely, I'm just going to tighten that bottom one and then tighten the top one. There we go. So they're just coming off at an angle like so. I'm going to slide it round till it's right over to the left hand as far as it'll go there. So I've got my greeting to go there. Okay, now I'm going to pop this onto the base card. So I never put wet adhesive onto ribbon. It will bleed through. We had that conversation today. It will bleed through. Hi Rhonda, lovely to see you. Long time no see. Okay, so that's just that little tiny border around there. It's just like I say, it's bringing out that colour in the purples there. I'm going to trim these ends off slightly. Just a little bit there. This is very, very static, this ribbon. It's really clingy. So, in fact, it's still on my fingers there. Okay, so that's that side. And then here I'm going to take my Stampin' Dimensionals. I've just got some little mini ones in here that I should do today. And then I'm going to be generous because we're putting it onto a moving substance there and the ribbon isn't attached down. I'm just going to make sure it's well adhered down. So I'm going to put 3 of these minis on here. 1, 2 and 3. There we go. Use that one. And then see if we can pop that on here like so. Just so that you can see either end. There you go. On there like so. So that it will just have a little bit of movement there. Okay, just where that knot is. Okay, so there's my piece. I'm just, because this, I feel this is moving a little bit too much for me. I'm going to take one of my glue dots, okay, just with my tweezers, and I'm going to put it underneath each end of that ribbon. So a piece that end, I'm going to take a second one and I'm going to put it under the middle. Just, they won't be seen, they're just hidden, but it's going to help anchor that ribbon in place. Okay, keep your tails out of the way, Sandra. There we go, so you don't stick them down. And then we've got that secured so it won't move about. So there's our little pouch, okay, nice little pouch there, and then this is just going to slide inside, like so. And then you can put some tape on here or a little glue dot and just adhere that down like so. Okay, then you've got a lovely little gift card. Okay, I think it's a really cute little project. And I was really pleased that Rebecca shared that with us today. We all did different things. So we made 2 projects each, one from Sale-A-Bration and one from our mini catalogue. So that was a really nice project to play with. Now, if we go back to my ones I showed you earlier, these ones, my size for these note cards, I'm not sure if it's going to be possible to actually make it from the same size in these proportions, because these ones I was really pleased I managed to get, look at that, it is static, put that on the floor, to get 4 from one sheet. So I'm going to try my measurement onto another blank sheet and I'm going to see if we can make a pouch to fit that. It's not much different, but it's enough to make, we need to make sure that the 6-inch is going to wrap round. So I did these by scoring across the width of our A4. I'm scored it at 7. Okay, and then I did do these live, I'm sure I did, and then cut at 14. And then I'll turn it in half. The width of our card here in metric is 21 centimetres. So I'm going to cut it exactly in half at 10.5. And then I end up with 4 little cards like so. Okay, so there's 2, there's 2, and this is the width of the card. I'll just double check that on my mat. It's not that way. 21. Yeah, this is the side I'll cut in half, so we're going to do the same this way. So the next piece along, we're going to score it at 7, and we're going to cut it at 14. Okay, so that's the only wastage I get from a whole sheet of card, which is really, really good, and it makes 4. So I'm going to cut it, turn it this way and cut at 10.5, which is straight down the middle. Okay, so if you didn't see me the other day when I did these in the other Sale-A-Bration papers, you know the measurements to do those. Okay, so just making sure that the points are at the top there. When we score, there is a little bit of leeway on there to make sure that it's, you know, it could be just a tiny fraction out. So make sure you aim for those and flatten those down. The bone folder is worth investing in a good one that doesn't leave lines. White card's not so bad, but if you get some of these hard plastic ones and you have darker colours of card like that Blackberry Bliss or Night of Navy or blacks, it will leave you a white line down where you've scored it. So it does make a lot of difference. So there's my 4 little cards from one sheet. So they fit really nicely. But I want to cut a piece of 6-inch from this one, the other half this again. Okay, so chop that in half. And I want to see how I can make this work to get on from one sheet. It's only a tiny little bit of leeway we're looking at. So if I score this like we did before at 1.5. Okay, and then I lay my little card in there. Doing it to the other side, but it won't matter. So if I do that and lay that in there, is this going to be enough to come round? It might just. Okay, so let me just crease where I think that needs to be. It's a tiny little bit of leeway there. If I just do a little nick on there, and I will measure that and tell you what that is from the other side. Okay, so that line is there. We are just over the 1.5 from the other side. So we are 1 5/8. A little tiny bit is going to make a big difference. Remember where I went wrong at the start? That was really surprising. But that is there. Just double check that again. It's just enough. And then with that glued down, that card is going to pop in there. So that will work. We've just got that tiny little gap at the end there to overlap. So we're going back to the other plan and we're going to score the bottom one at 1/2 inch. This is going to be the bottom of our little pouch. So that's going to come up at the end. So we kind of want to work out, we've got too much up here now, haven't we? So we want that to be about 3/4 inch. So I'm going to take a little slither off this end. If we go for 3/4, that would take us right there. We only want about 1/4 inch off that top piece, so I'm going to cut 1/4 off there. I'll recap on these when we finish. Okay, so this is the top of the pouch. We've taken 1/4 inch off and we're going to score that in at 1/2 inch. 3/4. Let's check. 3/4 inch. So remember with the first one, we had 3/4 at the top and 1/4 at the bottom. We've still got that. We've just changed the measurements on one side to 1.5 and 1 5/8, just to lessen that overlap, to give us the more width. Okay, so we should be back to where we were before. Glasses down. Hi, Debbie. So I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to snip up the two sides and take out the corners. So we're just coming on the inside, so the biggest part, just to cut away that ridge. Okay. So you can go back and get the measurements again later. So snip up there and then take this out, take the ridge out as well. And then the same on the other side. So snip upwards first and then take out that ridge. And snip up here and take out that ridge. Okay, with so many papers that automatically start off at 12 inches or 6 inches, this is going to be a really, really quick one to do. Imagine when you have a gift and you're just looking for a quick gift card. It's going to be really helpful. I liken these to the size of florists' gift cards. when you buy flowers, they tend to be the size that are given in the florists. Okay, I'm just going to burnish those edges. So I've got nice crisp edges. There we go. And then this one coming up here. And that one will come down there. So we know we've got that. We're going to pop the card inside there and just make sure that that is a decent size. That's going to be fine. We won't put too many layers on these so that we don't run into an issue getting it in the envelope. Just a tiny drizzle down the end there. And close that one. Run the bone folder along. We're going to stick the bottom the smallest flap, the 1/2 inch flap comes up. It's going to go on there. Okay, and then this one will be left open. So we're going to do the same all over again with the other card. Just grab my trimmer. And so the layers we had at 2 3/8 by 4 3/8. That isn't going to be big enough. Because I'm showing you my thriftiness, there is a score line down here. It's obviously not been in the right place for what I wanted. So I'm just going to see if I can fit it out of this one, which I think I can. So 2 3/8 this way. And then literally a little piece there with that score line on. And then this way is 4 3/8. 4 3/8. There we go. So again, that should fit on that. Oh, you know what? Oh, drat. I'm doing the old sizes, aren't I? Just copying what we've just done. Taking those lines off there, I will measure this one again. So this one's a different size. Let me just write on here. This will be fine. I've got a pencil. So we ended up with this card being 2 3/4. 2 3/4. And then this way we were just over 4. So 4 1/8. That's confusing. I did it in centimetres last time. So these are the sizes for this card. So I'm going to write them on here. So we're going to take this one down to 2 1/2 for the layer. And then this one will come down to 3 7/8. Okay, so I'll cut that one first. So 2 1/2. I'm going to draw you a plan tomorrow, a little diagram to make it easier, because I've probably confused you this evening. And 3 1/8. Right, does it? 3 7/8. That's got a straight border all the way around. That's 1/4 inch on that one. Okay, and then we're going to take that. We're going to come down 1/8 inch off that. We want a small border, so we'll go down. So that's 1/2 inch is 4/8, so we're going to come down to 2 3/8, and then this way we're going to come down to 3 3/4. Okay, so that's the DSP, that's the DSP. Okay, so let's cut that one now, and that should fit on here nicely. So 2 3/8. 2 3/8. Are you sticking with me? Just got to clear that. And 3 3/4. Fingers crossed. And there we go. Tiny little border around the edges there. I'll line that up on top of my card. I've written the measurements on there, so you'll be able to see that on replay. This one's slightly smaller inside there, but it's got an even border, a thicker border, because it's a bit wider card. Okay, so we're going to attach those together, then do the same. And I'll wrap some ribbon around there again. So you've got 2 different size versions depending on your size of your card. The first version that my friend showed me today, we can only get 1 from, we can't get 4 on a page, I don't think. So this way was the most economical for our cardstock in the metric sizes. Yep, you're there. Thanks, Linda. Okay, I'm just sliding that one into place. I can see it's not quite even. Okay, but I think if we place that on there now, yeah, nice little even border all the way around there. Okay, so we want a little bit of ribbon. Do this again and wrap that round. Tie that around there in a little knot. My sharper scissors for the ribbon. I say this is very static, this ribbon. Okay, so we're going to bring that across. Tie that off. Okay, and this one over here. More fingers and thumbs. Look, it's so static. I'm trying to hold my finger on the knot so it doesn't loosen. There we go. Just slide that across again. Should have stamped two greetings together, shouldn't I, at the same time? So I'm going to take two of those glue dots and pop them under there straight away. It's easier to see. So just take one off there. I'm going to place one this end. Press that down and take another one off here. If you've got tape easy to hand, you could put some tape across there and put it across. And if you do tape, I'd put the tape all the way across and onto your mat, peel it off, place your ribbon on it, and then tie it round. The reason being that it'll anchor it down onto the table for the tape to stick to it. But if you're doing it this way, glue dots will work fine because it's a small area. And that one. See what I mean about it being static, trying to get it off my hands. So we're ready to pop that over there. So I'm covering up all my pencil marks so they won't be seen. There we go. I don't have the American size card, the imperial measurements, but it might be worth doing a little bit more playing around with those measurements. There we go. And we'll do one more of those little banners. There's white here. There. And the Memento black ink and my stamp. Okay, any greeting would suffice, whatever you're going to gift this with. But it's a nice little size. I think this would be really lovely for Christmas, to make as Christmas tags. But you've also got the matching envelope with it as well. So that could be quite nice. I'm just going to trim this out. Get the die again. Place it on there. So it's a quick little card, but I've done two of them tonight, showing you two different sizes. Just clean all that out of the way. A bit of tape, just to hold that in place. There we go. Run that through, and there we've got nearly done. There we go. Take that tape off, stick it back on my stand for my camera. The magnet, the die straight onto the magnet so we don't lose it. And then our three little dimensionals on the back here, and we're done. One each end, and then one in the middle. There we go, turn it around so it's not upside down. No Australian ones today. And just place that down on there, and there we're finished. Look, so that's those two. So there's two different, and that will go fine. It'll fit in here nicely. Pop that ribbon in. I like it to go down straight. It's so static. Maybe I won't use that ribbon another time. There we go, and it just fits in there nicely. So we've got that one there, and then we've got this one here. Slide that in gently. And there's our two little pouches. Okay, you can see they're slightly different sizes. One's longer and slimmer, and our note cards the same. Okay, if I was going to gift these, I would probably, I've got that one stuck in there now, look, let me get hold of that without damaging it. There we go. If I was going to gift these, I would probably put some double-sided tape across the top here so that the recipient can write in their card, fill it, and then peel it off to seal it. Okay, I wouldn't rely on the fact that they've got adhesive at home. Okay, so you can see from here the two different sizes of those note cards. I hope that shows it up well for you. Oops, just move you up a bit. But on here you can see slightly taller and narrower and shorter and fatter. But I can guarantee these you can get 4 out of 1 sheet of A4 card. Okay, so the choice is yours, and also the size of your papers and cards that you have there as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Loved playing with those today, and I'll just bring you back to me. There you go, and move you across. So have a play with those. You love these little cards with the envelopes. Yes, they're good. They are lovely, and it's something I think I'll be doing for Christmas cards, Christmas papers, and make some up of those. They'd be really, really handy. Thanks, Gillian. Somebody else has reacted to that as well. So that's all from me today, and I will be back with you on Wednesday. I'm just checking my diary in front of me as well at the same time. That was today. That's there. I will see you on Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Okay, again, if you've got any requests, then please put them in to me. If you've got a Sale-A-Bration order, we are coming towards the end of Sale-A-Bration. We've got another 2 weeks to go, just under 2 weeks. I'll have to get you on catch up. Don't worry, Gillian, it's lovely. Thanks, Angela. Yeah, so we've got just under 2 weeks of Sale-A-Bration left to grab a bargain before the 28th of February, the close of business, to get your freebies with your purchases. Okay, so do get